Welcome to our channel. Imagine an old man walking slowly through the quiet streets of Princeton, New Jersey. His hair is wild and white. His clothes are simple. And in his hand, he carries papers filled with symbols most people will never understand. To some, he looks like a gentle professor. But to the world, he is something more. His name is Albert Einstein. He did not command armies. He did not build an empire. He did not rule a nation. Yet he changed the way humanity understands reality itself. Before Einstein, people believed time moved the same for everyone. Space was fixed. Gravity was simply a force pulling objects together. The universe seemed stable, predictable, and almost mechanical. Then came Einstein. With imagination, mathematics, and courage, he showed that time can stretch, space can bend, light has a speed limit, and mass can become energy. He changed physics. He changed astronomy. He changed technology. And he changed the modern world we live in today. But behind the genius was a human being. A curious child. A struggling student. A lonely dreamer. A refugee. A peace advocate. And a man who spent his life asking one simple question. What is the universe really trying to tell us? Albert Einstein was born on March 14, 1879, in Ulm, Germany. He was not born famous. He was not born into power. He arrived quietly, like any other child, into a world that had no idea what he would become. As a boy, Einstein was thoughtful and observant. He did not simply accept things because adults told him to. He wanted to understand why. One of the most famous stories from his childhood begins with a compass. When young Albert saw the needle move, always pointing in one direction, he was amazed. There was no hand pushing it, no string pulling it, yet something invisible was guiding it. That invisible force stayed in his mind. To many children, a compass is a small object. To Einstein, it was a doorway. It told him that behind the ordinary world, there were hidden laws. Behind what we see, there were invisible forces. And behind every simple object, there might be a deep mystery waiting to be understood. This curiosity became the foundation of his life. He wondered about light. He wondered about time. He wondered what it would be like to ride beside a beam of light through the universe. Most people grow out of childhood questions. Einstein built his life around them. Einstein's early school life was not the story of a perfect student. He did not enjoy strict discipline or blind memorization. He disliked systems that demanded obedience without understanding. In classrooms built around rules, Einstein's mind wanted freedom. This has sometimes created the myth that Einstein was a bad student. But that is not exactly true. He was gifted in mathematics and science. What he resisted was not learning. It was mechanical learning without imagination. He did not want to repeat answers. He wanted to discover them. That difference made him unusual. While other students followed the path set before them, Einstein often seemed to be walking a path only he could see. Teachers could mistake his independence for rebellion. Institutions could mistake his imagination for arrogance. But Einstein understood something important. Knowledge without curiosity is lifeless. A mind that only memorizes may pass exams, but a mind that questions can change history. As a young man, he eventually studied in Switzerland at the Swiss Federal Polytechnic in Zurich. There, he met people who shared his love of science, philosophy, and debate. But even with talent, Einstein's future was uncertain. The world does not always recognize genius at first. Sometimes, it ignores it. After graduation, Einstein struggled to find a university position. For a young man with a brilliant mind, this was painful. He had ideas. He had ambition. He had imagination. But few doors opened for him. Eventually, he found work at the Swiss Patent Office in Bern. To many people, this might have seemed like an ordinary job. He reviewed inventions, studied technical designs, and examined applications. It was not the glamorous life of a great scientist. But for Einstein, the patent office became something unexpected. It gave him time to think. During the day, he worked with machines, clocks, signals, and electrical systems. At night, his mind traveled far beyond the office walls. Into light, into motion, into time, into space. He imagined trains racing through landscapes. He imagined clocks ticking in different places. He imagined observers watching lightning strikes from different positions. He asked questions that sounded simple, but carried revolutionary power. What does it mean for two events to happen at the same time? Can time be different for different observers? What would the universe look like if we could chase a beam of light? In a quiet office, far from fame, Einstein began reshaping reality. The world did not yet know his name, but history was already changing. Then came 1905, the year now remembered as Einstein's miracle year. In that single year, while still working at the patent office, Einstein published a series of papers that would transform physics forever. One paper helped explain Brownian motion, giving strong evidence for the existence of atoms and molecules. Another paper explained the photoelectric effect, showing how light can behave like packets of energy. This work would later help build the foundations of quantum physics and win Einstein the Nobel Prize. But the paper that shook the deepest foundations of science was his work on special relativity. Einstein proposed that the laws of physics are the same for observers moving at constant speeds, and that the speed of light is constant. This sounds simple, but its consequences were astonishing. If the speed of light is always the same, then time and space cannot be absolute. Time can slow down, lengths can contract. Events that seem simultaneous to one observer may not be simultaneous to another. Reality was not the fixed stage Newton had imagined. It was flexible, dependent on motion, and far stranger than common sense. Einstein had not discovered a new planet. He had not invented a machine. He had done something even more powerful. He had changed the rules of reality. Before Einstein, time felt universal. A second was a second. A minute was a minute. An hour was an hour. Whether you were standing still, riding a train, or looking at the stars, time seemed to flow the same for everyone. Einstein showed that this was not true. Time is connected to motion. If a person could travel close to the speed of light, time for that person would pass differently compared to someone standing still. This idea seemed impossible, almost dreamlike. But it was not fantasy. It was physics. Einstein forced humanity to accept that the universe does not always match human intuition. Our everyday experience is only a small part of a much larger reality. We live at slow speeds compared to light. We move through weak gravitational fields compared to black holes and neutron stars. So the universe appears simple to us. But beneath that simplicity is a deeper truth. Time is not a river flowing the same for everyone. It is part of the structure of the universe itself. And Einstein was the man who helped us see it. From special relativity came one of the most famous equations in history. E equals mc squared. Only 3 letters, 1 number, and a symbol. Yet inside this small equation was an enormous truth. Mass and energy are connected. Matter is not simply solid, separate, and permanent. Inside matter is energy, vast energy, locked within the structure of reality. This equation changed science forever. It helped explain processes inside stars. It helped humanity understand nuclear energy. And it became one of the most powerful symbols of the modern age. But the equation also carried a shadow. Decades later, the connection between mass and energy would become tied to the atomic age. Einstein himself did not build the atomic bomb. He was not part of the Manhattan Project. But his work helped reveal the principles that made nuclear energy understandable. The same equation that unlocked the stars also reminded humanity that knowledge is powerful, and power always carries responsibility. Einstein would spend much of his later life thinking about that responsibility. Because genius does not live outside history. It lives inside it. Einstein was not satisfied with special relativity. He wanted to go further. He wanted to understand gravity. For centuries, Isaac Newton's theory had explained gravity as a force pulling objects together. It worked beautifully for planets, falling apples, and everyday motion. But Einstein saw a deeper possibility. What if gravity was not simply a force? What if gravity was the shape of space and time? After years of intense thought, struggle, and calculation, Einstein presented his general theory of relativity in 1915. It was one of the greatest intellectual achievements in human history. General relativity described gravity as the curvature of space-time. Massive objects like stars and planets bend the fabric of the universe around them. Other objects move along those curves. The Earth orbits the Sun not because it is pulled by an invisible rope, but because the Sun curves space-time, and Earth follows that curve. This idea was beautiful. It was strange, and it was difficult to believe. But Einstein made a prediction. If gravity bends space-time, then light passing near a massive object like the Sun should bend too. In 1919, during a solar eclipse, observations confirmed that starlight was bent by the Sun's gravity. Almost overnight, Einstein became world famous. The quiet dreamer had become a global icon. Chapter 9. Fame and the Face of Genius. Fame changed Einstein's life. His face became known around the world. His wild hair, thoughtful eyes, and gentle humor turned him into the image of genius itself. But fame was complicated. Einstein was not only a scientist. He was also a man living through some of the most dangerous years in modern history. He was Jewish at a time when anti-Semitism was rising in Europe. As Nazi power grew in Germany, Einstein became a target. His ideas were attacked. His identity was attacked. His safety was threatened. In 1933, Einstein left Europe and settled in the United States, joining the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, New Jersey. America gave him refuge. But exile carries a quiet sadness. Einstein had left behind the continent of his youth, the scientific world where he had risen to fame, and a Europe falling into darkness. In Princeton, he continued to work, walk, think, and write. Students and neighbors sometimes saw him moving through town, lost in thought, simple in dress, almost unaware of his own legend. He had become one of the most famous men alive. Yet he remained, in many ways, the boy with the compass, still searching for the invisible order behind the world. As World War II approached, science entered dangerous territory. In 1939, Einstein signed a letter to President Franklin D. Roosevelt warning that Nazi Germany might be trying to develop an atomic weapon. The letter helped encourage the United States government to take nuclear research seriously. This moment connected Einstein's name to the atomic age. But it is important to be clear. Einstein did not build the atomic bomb. He did not work on the Manhattan Project. His role was indirect. Still, after the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Einstein felt the moral weight of a world changed by nuclear power. The universe he had helped explain had given humanity unimaginable energy. But humanity had used that energy to create unimaginable destruction. Einstein became an outspoken advocate for peace, international cooperation, and nuclear control. He warned that human thinking had to change if humanity was to survive the weapons it had created. For him, science was not separate from morality. Knowledge had to be guided by wisdom. Power had to be restrained by conscience. And the survival of civilization depended not only on intelligence, but on compassion. Einstein is often remembered as a symbol: the genius, the equation, the wild hair, the name that means brilliance. But he was also deeply human. He loved music, especially the violin. Music gave him peace when equations became difficult. He enjoyed humor and simple pleasures. He could be warm, playful, and kind. But he was not perfect. His personal life was complicated. His relationships were sometimes difficult. His dedication to science often came at an emotional cost. Like many great figures, his public greatness existed alongside private flaws. This makes his story more real. Einstein was not a supernatural being. He was not a machine of intelligence. He was a person, brilliant, curious, imperfect, and deeply driven. His genius did not come from knowing everything. It came from refusing to stop asking. Knowledge tells us what has already been discovered. Imagination asks what might still be true. Einstein lived in that space, between what is known and what waits beyond it. In his later years, Einstein continued searching for a unified theory, a single framework that could connect the forces of nature. He wanted harmony. He wanted simplicity beneath complexity. He believed the universe was not random chaos, but a deep order waiting to be understood. Not all of his final efforts succeeded. Physics moved in directions he did not always accept. Quantum mechanics, with its uncertainty and probability, troubled him. He contributed to its beginnings, but struggled with some of its philosophical implications. Still, he kept working. An old man at a desk, papers scattered around him, equations written and rewritten, a mind still chasing the deepest truth. There is something deeply moving about that image. Einstein had already changed the world. He had already earned his place in history. Yet he remained unsatisfied, not because he wanted fame, but because mystery still remained. The universe had given him answers, and every answer opened another question. Albert Einstein died on April 18, 1955, in Princeton, New Jersey. But his ideas did not die. They continue to shape the modern world. Relativity helps scientists understand black holes, gravitational waves, the expansion of the universe, and the behavior of time near massive objects. Even modern GPS technology depends on corrections related to relativity. Without accounting for differences in time experienced by satellites and receivers on Earth, GPS would become inaccurate. Einstein's work reaches into astronomy, cosmology, nuclear physics, quantum theory, and modern technology. Every time scientists observe light bending around a galaxy, every time they study black holes, every time they explore the early universe, Einstein's shadow is there. But his legacy is not only scientific. Einstein represents the courage to think differently. He reminds us that imagination matters, questions matter, and one mind, working quietly and honestly, can change the way an entire species understands existence. Albert Einstein did not simply change physics. He changed humanity's view of reality. He showed us that the universe is deeper, stranger, and more beautiful than we imagined. Time is not absolute. Space is not still. Gravity is not merely a pull. Light is not just brightness. Matter is not just matter. Everything is connected in ways the human mind is still trying to understand. And perhaps that is why Einstein still matters. Not only because of his equations, but because of his wonder. He looked at the universe and refused to see it as ordinary. He looked at invisible forces, moving light, falling objects, and distant stars. And he asked why. That question became a life. That life became a revolution. And that revolution changed the modern world. Today, every child who looks at the night sky and wonders what lies beyond is part of Einstein's legacy. Every scientist searching for truth is part of that legacy. Every person brave enough to question what everyone else accepts is walking, in some small way, the path Einstein walked. Albert Einstein gave humanity more than answers. He gave us a new way to ask questions. And in the endless mystery of the universe, that may be the greatest gift of all. If this story inspired you, please like this video, share it with someone who loves science, and subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories of the people who changed the world.